Imagine working for an abusive employer but not being able to quit. Migrant workers are an integral part of our workforce, and yet they don't seem to have the same rights as the rest of us. The federal government is getting set to recommend changes to the temporary foreign workers program next week, but many are wondering if it will be enough to stop what they say is systemic abuse. They take care of our children and our elderly. They work our farms and hold down jobs in our fast food industry. Temporary foreign workers. But there is an ugly side to the program. Experts say it leaves workers vulnerable and exposed to abuse.
You feel like an animal.
You feel like an animal?
Yeah.
Alberto Moreno came here from Mexico in 2012 to work on an Ontario farm. He slept in a bunker with 24 men who had to share 3 toilets and showers. He says he was injured soon after arriving while spraying plants for 8 hours in a greenhouse with a tank on his back. You're looking at video he posted on YouTube.
The tank has a hole and the acid dropped off on my leg and burned my leg.
Alberto complained and was fired.
Getting a new job is a nightmare.
And then there is the story of Cristina Torres. She came to Canada as a nanny under the Live-In Caregiver program several years ago and says she found a different kind of abuse from a previous employer when she first arrived.
You were supposed to work an 8-hour day?
Yes, 8 hours per day.
And in reality, how many hours did you find you were working?
I would end up working 16 hours a day. No overtime.
Migrant workers have become known as invisible, disposable labor in this country, and yet they are a pillar of the economy. Their numbers more than tripled in Canada in 10 years, from 100,000 in 2002 to 338,000 in 2012, with the majority working in Ontario.
The exploitation that they talk about is real.
Faye Faraday is a labour and human rights lawyer.
The Ministry of Labour here in Ontario has over the last couple of years done a number of sweeps into industries where migrant workers are known to be working, and they have found rates of non-compliance with the Employment Standards Act which range from 70 to 80% non-compliance. So when we talk about this being a systemic problem, it really is deeply entrenched.
But many are hoping that is about to stop. Next week, the federal government will reveal recommendations to change the temporary foreign workers program. Advocates are calling for an easier path to permanent status. They also want closed work permits eliminated, so people aren't tied to one employer, leaving them afraid to stand up for their rights for fear of being fired with nowhere to go. Maybe then, they say, stories like Alberto's won't have to be told anymore.
Every 5 minutes, there's a guy up in your back pushing you. Hurry up, hurry up. You are so low, you are so lazy. Come on, let's go. You want to go back to your country? It's very, very hard to deal with.
We spoke to Ontario's Labour Minister today. Kevin Flynn acknowledged there has been some abuse by some, but not all, employers. He also said his government has been working closely with the federal government on this issue.